Hi, folks. Mike Nowak here at Independence Park on Chicago's near northwest side. Please forgive the sunglasses. It's mighty bright out here today. Coming to a Chicago park near you, or maybe not, we're not exactly sure, one of these lovely Amazon delivery boxes, courtesy of Amazon, of course, and the Chicago Park District. You might remember that on last week's show, we discussed this, Peggy and I, and how this was sort of dropped on the city of Chicago. The alder critters did not know about it. The average citizen didn't know about it until it began happening. And organizations like Friends of the Parks did not know that this was going on. So this Sunday, Juanita Irizarry, who's executive director of Friends of the Parks, will be on our show to discuss this issue, why it happened, where we go moving forward. She's also going to discuss something that just dropped today, which is allegations that there's a cover-up at the Park District involving this scandal about sexual abuse and alcohol abuse among lifeguards. So we'll discuss that. We'll discuss the CDF confined disposal facility, which is planned for the mouth of the Calumet River, why that is still happening. All of that on the Mike Nowak Show with Peggy Malecki this Sunday at 9 a.m. But we're not just talking about Chicago's parks on the show this Sunday. We're also going to get into gardening, and we're going to be talking about this book, folks, Tropical Plants and How to Love Them. In fact, the author of that book is with us right now. Say hello to Marianne Wilburn. Marianne, it's great to see you again.
Hi, it's great to see you, Mike. Lovely to be back with you.
Marianne is not only an author, she's a garden ranter. You might remember earlier this year, she and Susan Harris were on the show to talk about the 15th anniversary of Garden Rant. Very briefly, how's that going for you right now?
Oh, it's going great. Actually, I just stopped the letter that I was writing to Scott Baerlin to to come and do this right now.
That's right.
And trying to zing him a little bit. But yeah, it's going really well. We're having a lot of fun this year, I have to say, all of us.
And I threatened to have him on the show, so I need to follow through on that. I haven't done that. I do want to show you something, though, in reading your book. Do you see what my bookmark is there?
Oh, gee. I don't know how I feel about that.
It's safe reading is what I can say about it. This is the life in 2021. It's like you find an extra mask and I was reading the book and I wanted to mark it and I said, oh, what have I got? Oh, there's a mask. I'll throw that in there. And so we're going to be talking about tropical plants. We're going to be talking about them. Let's see if I can get that. There we go. Make sure you pick up a copy of the book. And we're going to be talking about them in your backyard. We're going to be talking about them in your home. And we're going to be talking about how to keep them alive. But we're also going to be talking about how to let go. I thought that was a very interesting part of your philosophy of garden plants. Can you wax poetic on that for just a minute or two?
You bet. I'm going to give full and total absolution to listeners who feel really guilty about letting plants die. Because we all do. We want to keep, instinctively, we want to keep things alive. That tiny little start of something that we have, or the friend's ficus that looks a little rough, but we can bring it back to life. And there's all different reasons that we keep plants. And also frugality plays a big role. It certainly has in my gardening life. But we really have to look at how that affects the rest of our lives and how it creates or takes away from the balance in the rest of our lives. And if we have windowsills that are just crammed full of plants that we could probably pick up next season brand new, or we could start a cutting of brand new next year, or we could maybe grow something else next year, it would be a better investment in ourselves to just let go of it. And so I want to help people to retrain their brains to think about it that way, because there's a lot of plants that we're conditioned as gardeners and consumers that we buy every year and then we don't. Like coleus is a really good example. Our pepper plants, you don't think twice about throwing those out at the end of the season, but those plants could continue to live. I'm not trying to give you ideas for more plants to have on your windowsills, but they could live. But our culture has trained our brains to throw those away. But oh my gosh, I have to keep this mandevilla alive. And we don't necessarily have to. You have to do what works for you. And you do not want to get overwhelmed in this game, do you, Mike? Otherwise, you're just going to hate it.
Me overwhelmed? Yeah, like everybody else. I'm not necessarily the guy who's going to take the coleus cuttings and put them in a glass of water, or the geraniums in a paper bag in the basement. And don't get me started on what my friends who grow geraniums say about putting that in a paper bag in your basement. Actually, it works. It's not what the preferred way of propagating a geranium, but these are things that you have to think about at the end of season. And unfortunately, in temperate climes, we're getting to the end of season. So this will actually be a really great conversation for us to have on Sunday, but we'll also talk about how to keep them alive in your house over the winter.
Obviously, that's the reason that I wrote the book, is I want to give people the tools and the tips that they need in order to do that if that's what they wish to do. And it's surprisingly easier than you think for a lot of these plants. You may never have to even look at them more than once or twice over the course of the winter months by putting them into dormancy. And so I've got a lot of tips and instructions for how to do that, and we can talk about that.
And that's exactly what we will do on Sunday. It will be 9 a.m. Central Time. It will be 10 a.m. Eastern Time where you are, Marianne, but I don't want to confuse our viewers here. Join the live stream at 9 a.m. Central. Go to our YouTube page, subscribe to the channel. You can also go to MikeNowak.net and watch the show live there. Marianne, I'm really looking forward to this conversation on Sunday.
And me too.